Hello everyone, I am Rajlakshmi, faculty at Silver Hills Public School, Calicut. I am here to discuss the topic real numbers, which is the first chapter of class 10 mathematics. We have studied about different types of numbers from smaller class onwards. We'll just see all those types of numbers and come to our part, the real numbers. Types of number system. First, we will consider the natural numbers, or what we call the counting numbers. Natural numbers means numbers which we have studied from beginning onwards, that is 1, 2, 3, etc. Up to infinity, it's going on. Natural numbers. The first set of numbers which we have studied, natural numbers or counting numbers. Then to represent something which is not there, nothing, to represent that we have introduced another number, that is 0. 0, when comes 0 along with the natural numbers, another new set of numbers came, that is what we call whole numbers. Whole numbers. Then comes the next, when we have to represent numbers which are less than 0. Then we have introduced another type numbers, that what we call integers. Integers, that is to represent numbers less than 0, that is negative numbers, -1, -2, etc. like that. And also positive integers, we have 1, 2, 3, etc. That is to represent numbers less than 0, we have introduced another set, that is integers. Now next type, all these together we have taken. Now next type, to represent integers, numbers between two integers, that is between 1 and 2, between 5 and 6. To represent that, we have another set numbers, that is fractions, or rather we will call rational numbers. Rational numbers, that is the numbers of the form p by q, where p and q are integers and q not equal to 0 are called rational numbers, that is 1 by 2, -1 by, it can be negative or positive, -5 by 6, or if it is positive 3 by 4, 7 by 9, all these comes under the category rational numbers. And next is what we call those which are not rational. What it will be? Those which are not rational, it is irrational numbers. Irrational numbers, those which cannot be written in the form p by q, where p and q integers and q not equal to 0 are called irrational numbers. Are this root 2, root 3, then we have the decimals or the pi. Decimals which are non-recurring, non-terminating, such decimals also comes under the category irrational numbers. Irrational numbers. Now, together this family, together all these members together, that is natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, all together forms the set of numbers what we call real numbers. The head of the family, the real numbers. All this comes under the category real numbers. That is the set, the collection of all the rational and the irrational numbers together forms a set of real numbers and is denoted by R. In this chapter, we have to learn some properties of numbers, that is properties of natural numbers. Still more types of numbers are there, which we have already seen, that is prime numbers, composite numbers, even numbers, odd numbers, many types are there, all comes under the same category, the real numbers. So in this chapter, we are dealing with different properties of numbers. That is, first one, it is what we call Euclid's division lemma, that which deals with the divisibility of natural numbers. Euclid's division lemma, it deals with the divisibility of natural numbers. But this section is deleted from our portions for the time being this year, and we will move on to the next property, that is what we call the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. which deals with the factorization of natural numbers, the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So we will see more about fundamental theorem of arithmetic, its applications and all. Okay, so first we will see what is fundamental theorem of arithmetic. The fundamental theorem of arithmetic states that is every composite number can be expressed as product of primes, and this factorization is unique except for the order of its prime factors. Every composite number means what? That is those which are not prime. So what are prime numbers? Prime numbers means those numbers which have only two factors, that is 1 and that number itself, that is prime numbers. 2 is a prime number because 2 has factors only 1 and 2, the same number itself. 3 is a prime number, 3 has factor 1 and 3 only. 5 is a prime number, that is it has factors 1 and 5 only. But in between we have 4. 4 we know we have factors 1, 2 and 4, that it is not prime, it is a composite number. So composite number starting with 4 and prime number, smallest prime number is 2. And we didn't tell anything about 1 because 1 is a special case, it is neither prime nor composite. Okay, so we are dealing with this composite number can be expressed as product of primes. All composite numbers we can express as product of prime numbers. And this factorization means splitting up into factors. Factors, those numbers that are multiplied to get the product. Factors, if it is 6, we have the factors 2 into 3. If it is 8, we have factors 2 into 4, both are factors. So this factorization is unique, that it will be same, unique. Only the order of its prime factors may change, but factors will not change. That is for 6, only 2 and 3 are the factors. It can be 3 into 2 also. That is 2 factors only. 3 into 2, that is prime factors I am telling, that is 2 into 3 or 3 into 2. Order is may be changed, but factors are unique. And if it is 8 prime factors is 2 into 2 into 2. This is 8. Prime factorization, it is 2 cube, 8 factors, prime factors. That is, this composite number can be expressed as product of primes. Another example, if we take 12 prime factors, how we will see, that is 2 into 6 is 12. Then again if we factorize, 6 is 2 into 3. So the prime factors of 12 are 2 into 2 into 3. If we write like this 3 into 2 into 2, then also same value 12. That the order can be changed, but the factors won't be changed. Okay, the prime factors won't be changed. That is fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Now we will see some applications of fundamental theorem of arithmetic. First one is HCF and LCM of positive integers. How to find HCF and LCM of positive integers? Consider two numbers, small numbers itself we will consider 6 and 8. 6 factors, prime factors, we will consider it is 2 into 3. And 8 prime factors, if it is 2 into 2 into 2, that is 2 cube. So how to find the HCF? Its HCF is the product of the smallest power of the prime factor which is common. In this, which number is common? 2 is common for both. And in 2, the smallest power is 2 raised to 1. That is HCF of 6 and 8 is 2. And what about LCM? LCM, it is the product of the greatest power of those which are common. And also we have to take those which are not common. That is, here if we consider the common, 2 is common. Greatest power is 2 raised to 3. So 2 raised to 3 we have to take into those which are not common also we have to take. That is 3. That is 2 cube is 8. 8 into 3, 24 is the LCM of 6 and 8. That is HCF is the product of the smallest power of each common prime factor involved in the numbers. Only common prime factor will take the smallest power. And LCM is the product of the greatest power of each prime factor that is common or not common. Both we have to consider. Okay, and we have another property of HCF and LCM, that is there is a relationship between HCF and LCM, that is for any two positive integers A and B, HCF of AB into LCM of AB is equal to A into B. That is, if we take the product of HCF and LCM of two numbers, it will be same as the product of the numbers. And this 2 I have to underline because it's applicable only for two positive integers. If there are more than 2, this relation won't satisfy. Okay, that is, if we find the HCF of two numbers and LCM of two numbers, then finding the product, that will be equal to the product of the numbers itself. The previous question which we have done, that is with 6 and 8. Just see, 6 and 8 are the numbers. So product of the numbers, what we will get? 6 into 8, that is 48. Now HCF we got 2, LCM we got 24. So HCF into LCM, that is 2 into 24, that's equal to 48. See, both are same. That is, product of two numbers will be equal to product of HCF and LCM. So these are the points which you have to remember with fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Fundamental theorem of arithmetic, what is the statement and what is the, how to find the HCF and LCM using prime factorization, and also the relationship between HCF and LCM. Okay, now we will move on to some questions based on this theorem. Okay, find the HCF and LCM of 26, 91. So how to find HCF and LCM of 26 and 91? So 26 we will take, we will write the prime factors of 26. 26 we know it's an even number, so 2 will be a factor. So 2 into 13, only two factors, that is 2 and 13. 2 into 13 is 26. Then 91. 91, 2 is not divisible, 3 not divisible, 4 not divisible. Like that, when we check, 7 is divisible, that is 91 is divisible by 7. 7 is a factor. It is 7 into 13. 7 into 13 is 91. No other factors for 91. Okay, you can use factor tree method or division method, anything for prime factorization. So now we will find the HCF. So HCF we told the product of the prime, the smallest power of the prime number which is common. Okay, so common is only 13. So and both have the same power 1. So what is the HCF? HCF equal to 13. Only one common, that is 13, that only we will take. Now LCM. LCM is what? Product of the greatest power of those which are common and not common. That is, common only 13, same power also, and not common we have 2 into 7. So what is LCM? 13 into 2 into 7, that is 13 into 14. We have to do 13 into 14, 12, then 5, 3, 1, that is 2, 8, 1. 5, 3, 281. That is 182 is the LCM of 26 and 91. That is 182 is the least common multiple of 26 and 91, and highest common factor of 26 and 91 is 13. So, like this we have to find the HCF and LCM of 26, 91. This can be asked as 1 mark question. So, practice this type questions. Next we will move on to another type question, that is find the sum of exponents of prime factors in the prime factorization of 196. Okay, the same question came last year for the board exam, that is you have to find the sum of exponents of prime factors. So, first we should find the prime factors. So, 196 is the number given. To find the prime factors, as if I told, factor tree or division method you can use. So, if I write 196, when you hear 196, first what we will think? 196 is the square of 14. 13 square 169, 14 square, we will just interchange the digits, it is 196. So, it is 14 into 14, 196. So, still prime numbers when we take 14 is 2 into 7 and again 14 2 into 7. So, how many 2's are there? That is 2 square into 7 square. 2 2's and 2 7's. When we write in powers, it is 2 square into 7 square, that is 196. Now, what is the question? That is, you are asked the sum of exponents of prime factors. It is exponents means powers. You have to find the sum of powers of the prime factors of 196. So, powers are 2 and the next power is also 2. The sum means we have to add both. That is 2 plus 2, 4 is the answer. So, same type question can be asked different ways. Okay, as per the question given, we have to answer. So, sum of the powers of prime factors, it is 2 plus 2, that is equal to 4. Okay. Now, next we will move on to next question using the relationship of HCF and LCM. That is, if xy equal to 180 and HCF of xy denoting any two numbers for that. HCF of x and y is 3. You are asked to find the LCM of x and y. Okay, this question you might have seen, it is the first question of the sample paper which board has given this year. So, this question we are using the relationship between HCF and LCM. That is, we know the product of HCF and LCM, HCF into LCM will be equal to the product of the numbers. Here x and y, that is the product of x and y, xy. And what is given? We are given xy is 180. This as 180 is given. Then given HCF as 3 is given into what we are asked to find? The LCM of xy we are asked to find. So, from the relationship which we know, we have to find the LCM. If we don't know the relationship, how will we find? So, we should know the relationship, that is the product of HCF and LCM is equal to the product of the numbers. So, to find the LCM, just take 3 to the other side of the equation. It is 180 divided by 3, that is LCM of these two numbers equal to 60. Just underline the answer, just project the answer so that it is easy for while correcting also your answer will be projected and the person who is correcting the paper gets impressed also. Okay. So, LCM of these two numbers given is 60. Okay. We have used the relationship between HCF and LCM and found the answer. Now, we will move on to next question, some applications relating HCF and LCM. Okay. So, here it is. Seeing the length of the question, don't think that difficult question and all. This type question can come for 2 mark questions for the board exam. A merchant has 120 liters of oil of one kind, 180 liters of another kind and 240 liters of third kind. 3 types of oils, that is petrol, diesel, something else you think. Okay, he wants to sell the oil by filling the 3 kinds of oils in tins of equal capacity. All these 3 kinds of oil he had to fill in tins of equal capacity. You are asked to find what should be the greatest capacity of such a tin. Okay, 3 types oil we have: 120 liter, then 180 liter and 240 liters. These 3 kinds oil the person, that merchant, have to sell by filling in tins of equal capacity. What is the greatest capacity of such a tin? What we have to find in this? Yes, sure, it is the HCF of these two, that is highest common factor. It is the HCF of these 3 numbers we have to find to get the greatest capacity of such a tin. So, this tin, just a trick I will tell you, this tin which you have to fill all these 3 oils, that is, this tin will not be more than the given volume, is it? It will be smaller than the given quantity. So, something which we want to find smaller than the given quantity, at that time it will be using HCF. Okay, that is, something which we want to find is smaller than the given. Then we have to use the concept, the HCF, highest common factor. Okay, just for a trick for you to understand the question, something which you want to find smaller than the given thing, use the HCF. So, here we will see the HCF. So, for 120 we want to prime factorize, use a factor tree if needed. 120, if you use a factor tree, it is 12 into 10, 120, 12 again 2 into 6, 2 prime number, 6 is 2 into 3. There 2, 3 prime numbers. Here 10 is 2 into 5. So, how many 2's? 1, 2, 3. It is 2 cube into 1, 3, 3 into and 1, 5, 5. 120 prime factorization, it is 2 cube into 3 into 5. Then we have 180, 180. 180 same way we know it is 18 into 10. So, 18 is 2 into 9. So, 2 already prime, 9 is 3 into 3 and 10 is 2 into 5. So, how many 2's we have? 1, 2. It is 180 equal to 2 raised to 2 into, how many 3's? 2 3's, that is 3 square into, how many 5's? Only 1 5. So, prime factorization of 180 is 2 square into 3 square into 5. Then we have the next number, that is 240. Same way 240 we can write as 24 into 10. However we want factors we can write, okay. Only final answer you have to see whether they are all prime. So, 24 again if we do, it is 2 into 12. So, 2 we stop, then 12 is 2 into 6. Again 2 prime, then 6 is 2 into 3. Then this side 10 is 2 into 5. So, how many 2's we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 240 equal to 2 raised to 4 into, how many 3's? Only 1 3 and 1 5. So, here what we have to find? We told something smaller than this we have to find, we have to do the HCF. So, HCF is what? HCF is the product of the smallest power of those prime factors which are common. So, common, 2 is common, 3 is common, 5 is common. All the 3 factors are common. So, among 2's, which is the smallest power, that is 2 square. So, 2 square we have to take into, among 3's, smallest power, that is 3 raised to 1, that is 3. Among 5, smallest is 5 itself. So, what is the HCF? 2 square, 4 into 3 into 5, that is 12 into 5, 60. HCF is 60. So, what you have to asked to find? You are asked to find what should be the greatest capacity of such a tin. all the units given in liters. So, therefore, the greatest capacity of the tin is 60 liters. So, with the unit you have to stop the answer because you are asked the greatest capacity. So, 60 liters. So, something which you have to find smaller than the given quantity, find the HCF. Okay. So, 60 liter tins the merchant has to use to fill all these 3 types of oil. Okay. Hope you have understood how to apply HCF to find the given thing. Now, we will move on to next question, that is here. 3 bells ring at an interval of 4, 7 and 14 minutes. All 3 bells rang at 6 am. When the 3 bells will ring together next? Okay, you are given 3 bells. Hope you have seen this question also familiar to you. That is, this also from the sample paper. This year sample paper board has given 2 mark question. That is, you have 3 bells and 3 bells ring at an interval of 4 minutes, 7 minutes and 14 minutes. First 4 minutes, the first bell will ring, then when for 7 minutes, second bell will ring, next 14 minutes, third bell will ring, like that. And you are told all 3 bells rang at 6 am. 3 bells rang together at 6 am first. Now you are asked when the 3 bells will ring next. Next, after 6 am, when the 3 bells will ring together. That is after 6 am. That is something more than the given quantity. So, what we have to find here? LCM. Yes, we have to find the least common multiple. That is something more than after 6 am. That is more than 6 am we have to find. So, what is something more than the given, higher than the given quantity? If you are asked to find, you have to find the LCM of those numbers. So, 4, 7 and 14. 4, if we factorize 4, we know it is 2 square. If we factorize 7, 7 factor only 7 into 1, that is 7 itself. Then, if we factorize 14, it is 2 into 7. So, which is common for these numbers? Common, 2 is common for first 2 and 7 is common for last 2. So, among those common greatest power we have to take, that is LCM equal to 2 square into 7 common, same power 7, that is 4 into 7, 28. But how we will finish the answer? How we will conclude? It is after 28 minutes, the 3 bells will ring together. After 28 minutes means what will be the time? Now it is 6 am. After 28 minutes means it will be 6:28 am. The 3 bells will ring together at 6:28 am. Okay. Hope you have understood this. You have to find the LCM of these 3 numbers. That is, you have to find bigger value, that is than the given. So, you have to find the LCM. Okay. So, 6:28 am, the 3 bells will ring together next. The next one, another one, this is also an important question of this type. Check whether 6 raised to n can end with the digit 0 for any natural number n. Last year for the board exam, this question came for 4 marks actually, but it's nothing is there to do, only you have to show whether it ends with digit 0 or not using fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Okay. So, 6 raised to n can end with the digit 0. Normally when we say, when will the digit end with 0? When it is a multiple of 10, isn't it? When a number is a multiple of 10, that number will end with, multiple will end with digit 0. So, 10 means which are the factors? Factors of 10 are 2 and 5. So, normally if the number has factors 2 and 5, then it should be divisible by 10 or it should end with digit 0. But we can see 6 raised to n. the factors of 6 raised to n. 6 factors are 2 and 3. That is 2 into 3 whole raised to n. We can see 2 is a factor, but is 5 a factor of 6? No, 5 is not a factor of 6. 6 have only 2 factors, 2 and 3. So, will the number end with the digit 0? Will 6 raised to n end with the digit 0? No, 6 raised to n cannot end with the digit 0 since there are only 2 primes, that is 2 and 3 as the factors of 6. And here we are using the fundamental theorem of arithmetic as the factorization is unique. There are no other prime factors other than 2 and 3, 4, 6. Okay, so we have to write it as for any natural number n to end with digit 0, it should be divisible by 10. So, it will also be divisible by 2 and 5, that is 2 and 5 should be the factors. But 6 raised to n equal to 2 into 3 whole raised to n. That is, the only primes in the factorization of 6 raised to n are 2 and 3. And by the uniqueness of fundamental theorem of arithmetic, there are no other factors or no other primes in the factorization of 6 raised to n. So, there is no natural number n for which 6 raised to n ends with digit 0. Okay, we are applying the fundamental theorem of arithmetic to show the uniqueness of these primes. And to end with digit 0, it should be factors, 2 and 5 should be factors. Here only 2 and 3, so it cannot end with digit 0. This same type for different numbers can come instead of 6 raised to n, it can come 12 raised to n, 4 raised to n, all those things, but the concept same. You have to write in the same pattern, and same type question came last year for the board exam for 4 marks. Actually nothing we have to write, only this much we have to show. Even it is 2 marks or 4 marks, more than this nothing is there for us to show. Okay, so understand this and do practice questions like this. Okay, now next one, explain why 7 into 11 into 13 plus 13 and 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 plus 5 are composite numbers. You have to explain why we are telling these are composite numbers. Here also we are using the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, that is every composite number can be expressed as a product of primes, it's told, isn't it? So, to prove it is a composite number, we have to show it we can express it as product of primes, that much only we have to do. So, here it is product, but there is plus sign also. So, we can't say they are product of primes directly, we have to simplify that. How is it possible? We will see. So, we have given first one, we will see 7 into 11 into 13 plus 13. Okay, somehow we have to remove that plus sign, then all other prime numbers. So, somehow if you remove that plus sign, it will be product of primes. So, what we will do? We will just see what is common here. Okay, 13 is common here. So, 13 if we take common outside, what is remaining? 7 into 11 into 1. Instead of 13, 1 will come plus 1. Okay. So, what happens? It is 13 into 7 into 11 into 1 means 77 plus 1, that is 13 into 78. But still 13 is a prime, but 78 is not a prime number, it is an even number. So, 78 again we have to factorize. How we will factorize? 78. 78 when we factorize, it is 2 into 39. Then 2 is a prime number. So, 39 is 3 into 13. So, the prime factors of 78 are 2 into that, this is 13 into 2 into 3 into 13. Now, you just see all are prime numbers. 13 into 2 into 3 into 13. That is, this is expressed as the product of primes. That is, since 7 into 11 into 13 plus 13 equal to 13 into 2 into 3 into 13, we can say that it's a composite number because it can be expressed as the product of primes. Okay, this is the first part of the question, that is, by fundamental theorem of arithmetic, this can be expressed as a product of prime numbers, so it's a composite number. Okay, now we will move on to the second part of this question, that is 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 plus 5. This is the second part. You have to prove this also as composite number. Okay, same way we have to express as product of primes. Here also we can see a plus sign, we have to remove that. So 5 is common here. So 5, if we take common outside, what will happen? It is 5 into, that is 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 plus 1. Okay, that is 5 is common, we have taken outside. This equal to 5 into 7 into 6, 42, 42 into 4 3s are 12, 12 into 2, 24, 43 into 24, it is 1008 plus 1. When we multiply all these numbers, we will get 1008 plus 1, that is 5 into 1009. 1009, if you check, you won't get any other prime factors, only 1 and 1009, because 1009 itself a prime number. So what? Both prime numbers, product of primes. So 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 plus 5 can be expressed as 5 into 1009, which are product of primes. So since it can be expressed as product of primes by fundamental theorem of arithmetic, the given question, given number is a composite number. Okay, so we have applied the fundamental theorem of arithmetic and we have proved all these questions, and practice these questions. We will get 1 mark question and also a 2 mark question from the same section, same type questions. Most probably it will be more than this thing can be asked later to this. So learn the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So practice these type of questions and do well. Okay, thank you.